Welcome to another episode of The Vigilant Christian Show, starring Mario Bryson as the Vigilant Christian. On today's episode, the Vigilant Christian shamelessly uses the homeless to get sympathy and reveals a new way he may be able to start scamming viewers in the near future. Stay tuned.
Hey Faith family, it's Brother Mario. I pray you guys are having a wonderful day. I wanted to go ahead and create a video here today to share with you one of the most life-changing experiences that's ever happened to me.
Okay, is it just me, or does he still look high? It looks like his eyelids are heavy, like he's half asleep. What do you guys think?
And that is how about 6 months ago, I ended up at the Ottawa Mission, which is a homeless shelter. For those of you who don't know, I'm currently in phase 2 of my rehabilitation program offered by the Ottawa Mission.
He keeps propping up this certificate because he thinks it makes him credible to run a YouTube ministry. Whether he's on drugs or off drugs, he still isn't who he claims to be on this channel. And I looked up the Ottawa Mission, and it does appear to be a very good organization, but it also, from what I can tell, doesn't seem to run nearly as a strict rehab program as the live-in facility that Mario was kicked out of. Mario mentioned that they conduct weekly drug tests. I don't know much about drug tests as I've never had to deal with anything like that, but isn't it fairly easy to manipulate a weekly drug test? If you drink like a gallon of water before your test, won't it give you a clean test? If you know anything about that, drop a comment and fill us in. And I'm not saying I know for fact Mario isn't clean, because I don't know. But based on his extensive history of lying, I just don't trust anything he says.
So as you can see, the Ottawa Mission, more than a shelter, and I've completed the stabilization part of my program. And I'll be done the program entirely in 4 weeks from now, approximately.
And he is hoping by the end of this 4 weeks that people will trust him again so that he can pick up where he left off before getting exposed in January 2019. So he's going to be on his best internet behavior for the next 4 weeks and then receive his second certificate, and will use that to justify running a YouTube ministry. He thinks if he can portray a drug-free image that the public will accept him as a minister. But Mario's real problem isn't drugs. Mario's real problem is pride and greed and his love for money, so much so that he will come on YouTube and run a fake ministry, which is what he started doing in 2012. So in 2019, when Mario was exposed in the texting scandal, people finally started seeing this Mario Bryson guy isn't actually the vigilant Christian as he portrays online. So Mario realizes he's in trouble and could stand to lose this fake ministry that he was getting $100,000 a year from. So he needed to act fast. And so what he does is blame it all on drugs. And I'm not saying he wasn't on drugs, because I know he was. But what I am saying, it wasn't drugs that caused him to do the things that he did. It wasn't drugs that drove him to start a phony YouTube ministry. It wasn't drugs that drove his bad behavior. So he jumps right into damage control mode and sells the story about his addiction to drugs. So therefore, if drugs were the problem, then getting off drugs would be the solution. Meanwhile, we completely miss and overlook the real problem, which is this guy is a con artist running a scam on YouTube. He's a swindler of the gospel. But if he leads you to believe drugs were his problem and getting clean is the solution, then he has completely misdirected you away from the real problem. This is why he keeps talking about rehab and recovery and keeps flashing this certificate. Because if he convinces you that his drug addiction's what caused him to do the things he did, and then convinces you he has broken his drug addiction, then naturally you're going to drop your guard and believe he's fit to run his YouTube ministry. So the point is, whether he has the certificate or not, or whether he's drug-free or not, doesn't matter, because drugs were not what caused his hypocritical behavior in the first place. It was pride and greed that caused it. And those are still very much a big part of him. That's who he is. And that's why he's still running this phony ministry and won't leave YouTube.
But I wanted to create a video here today to share with you how God used this experience in my life to absolutely transform me. It was one of the most humbling experiences of my life. And that's a good thing. I grew in so many ways. And so in today's video, I want to share with you what it was like to be in the shelter and see the things that I saw and what God showed me about his heart for the broken, lost, and homeless.
This guy is going to use the plight of the homeless to try to gain sympathy from viewers. He wants to come across loving and caring. As I said, he's going to be on his best internet behavior for these next 4 weeks. And the things he says in this video are true. God does love the homeless, lost, and broken. We shouldn't judge or look down upon homeless people. We shouldn't take food and shelter for granted. Yes, all these things are true. But what isn't true is Mario's motive behind this video, as he is exploiting the homeless to try to make himself look like a good guy to his viewers. All because ultimately he is just trying to win back their trust so that he can resume running this fake ministry.
And so I showed up at the shelter. I had like 2 bags of clothes. I was broken. I was lost. It was a tough, humbling experience for me, but a very good one, beneficial one. It helped me develop my character and overcome many things in my life.
Look at him reading this script as he's saying that. He's like, it helped me overcome many things and develop my character, and he's reading it. Isn't that something that you would say from the heart off the top of your head instead of reading some notes?
So I show up at this place. I've never been homeless. I've never been in a shelter before. So this is kind of like a shock to my system. But I know that God had brought me there. And so I had the strength to continue. I wasn't going to go back to work or stop my path of recovery. I knew that I needed to complete a program. And so I was okay with being there.
Look, he's still reading. It really makes his testimony look authentic, huh?
Now, keep in mind, I wasn't homeless, but I was at a shelter and they provide food and clothing for me. So I wasn't in a bad situation like a lot of the guys that end up there.
I think he went to this homeless shelter because he knew it's less strict than the live-in rehab facilities, and the rehab program would be much easier to graduate from. Therefore, it would be much quicker to get a little certificate for you to carry around to prove to your viewers you're drug-free and qualified to run a ministry.
To be honest, before this experience, I remember driving by the Ottawa Mission and looking at the people there and saying, well, you know what? They deserve it. You know, in a sense, you feel that way sometimes when you think of the homeless. You're like, well, they got themselves into this mess. But man, when I got to meet them and I heard their stories, don't judge them. I'm telling you, some people have been through some really tough stuff in life. Also in this place, I found a new heart. As you can see, I'm getting emotional in this video because I love these people. If you're struggling and you're homeless and you're watching me, let me tell you, man, I care about you and Jesus cares about you. When Jesus was on the earth, he walked with you, people like you and me, broken, lost.
I like the way he's getting all emotional and breaking down for these homeless people he loves so much, but yet is mindful enough to shuffle through his papers and read his notes. I guess he's good at multitasking.
Hungry. He's an amazing God. What a good God. And so I just wanted to share this experience with you here today.
Again, I love the way he so quickly transitions from being so emotional to suddenly driving home the point of the video.
Brothers and sisters, about how God used this experience of mine, being in a shelter, to really radically change my heart.
And there lies the motive behind making this video. He is trying to earn back public trust and restore his damaged reputation by telling the viewers how much he's changed so that his viewers will trust him again and start sending him donations again. That's all he cares about, and he's not afraid to use the homeless to achieve his goal.
I have such a love in my heart for addicts and homeless. God has put that in my heart. I feel your pain. Remember, when Jesus meets us on Judgment Day, it's one of the things that he's going to mention. Where were you when it came to helping the poor, the hungry, the lost, those who are in prison? There's a famous Bible verse that talks about this. I just want to remind you today that it's important as Christians.
Where's that famous Bible verse you were just talking about? I guess it wasn't in his notes.
That we help those who are in need. And so I found my mission. This is my mission. I want to help. I don't know how God's going to open up that door for me just yet, but I'm going to do my part to help.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen, the first hint at Mario's new scam. On my last video, the one where Mario claims to be able to predict the future, I made a prediction of my own, saying that in the near future, Mario will announce some new project he's going to claim God placed on his heart, and he's going to need donations to carry that out. Now we can see on this video, he's planting the seeds that he wants to help the homeless. And what do you want to bet? In order for him to help the homeless, he's going to need some donations. That's the real motive behind this video. Of course, he's not going to ask for donations just yet. He'll probably wait at least 4 weeks until he has his second certificate. And by that time, he'll probably have put out 12 to 15 videos and was on his best internet behavior, in hopes by that time his damaged reputation will be restored and people will start giving donations again. I can see through this scam already, and I hope the ones who watch my videos will be able to do the same so we can warn others.
There are some broken people. And God's heart breaks for them, and so does mine.
They need your help, Mario. Come on, everybody, let's give Mario some donations.
It was a beautiful thing. It was a life-changing, amazing thing. So stay tuned, guys. I'm going to be sharing more about my experiences.
I love the way he's so emotional. It was such a beautiful thing. And then it's just like, so stay tuned, guys. I'm going to be sharing some more of my experiences. Because he is acting. That's what I've been trying to tell you. This is an act. When you are really broken up about something, when you're like crying, or even if you're just on the brink of crying, you can't just quickly transition into a completely new topic and talk normally.
More about how I was finally able, with the mission's help.
And of course, he's going back for that stupid certificate because he thinks that certificate is his saving grace to the public.
More than a shelter. To receive rehabilitation. I'm so thankful for this in my life.
It's really not that big a deal. Man, he really loves that certificate.